The sunshine was streaming into the window when I woke up on that October morning in 1994. It took me a minute to remember, but as I came to life, I remembered it was Friday and I was not going to work. It was a personal day for me. My husband and I were taking a road trip. Oh, we were so excited. We had done most of the packing the night before, so it didn't take us very long to get ready. We lived in Concord, New Hampshire. My husband sang with the Granite Statesmen, an award-winning barbershop chorus. And he also sang with the barbershop quartet. We were going to travel to Lake Placid, New York, to attend the Northeast District Barbershop competition. Well, he was going to participate. I just went to have fun. So we got in the car and started our trek across New Hampshire into Vermont and all the way to Lake Champlain. Oh, Mother Nature treated us to an absolutely spectacular cacophony of colors. Oh, the foliage was so beautiful, just magnificent around every turn. We got to Lake Champlain, we got on a ferry and went to the New York side. And once on the New York side, we continued to Lake Placid. I had never been to Lake Placid before. Have any of you been there? Well, when we got to Lake Placid, the route that we took came into the city on a big hill. And we looked down the hill, and there was the town of Lake Placid. Oh, it was beautiful. It was charming. It was quaint. As we drove down through the town and onto the main street, I got more and more excited because on every side of me were shops. Lake Placid is a shopper's paradise. Okay. My name is Phyllis Blackstone. I am a shopaholic. Yes, I do love to shop. I live by the mantra, if you don't go into every shop, how will you know that you have found the right thing that you didn't know you need? And also, as my friend Jan says, there's only one more shopping day till tomorrow. My friend Jan and I have tried to figure out which one of us can shop the longest. We've never been able to figure it out. We start early in the morning when the shops open, and we're still shopping when they close. So we've never been able to figure out which one of us can shop the longest. But oh, I love to shop. I didn't say buy. I don't necessarily like to spend money, but I love looking at everything. I can even be happy at Irving's gas station. It's really quite an interesting place to shop. So as we're coming down Main Street and I'm seeing all these shopping opportunities, I know how I'm going to spend my afternoon. we check into the hotel. My husband says in a dejected type of voice, "Honey, I guess I won't be able to spend much time with you this afternoon. I have to rehearse with the chorus and then with the quartet." And I said, "Oh, honey, that's okay. I'm sure I'll find something to do." Now, as soon as he left the room, I put on my walking shoes. I put my hotel key in one pocket of my jeans. I put my credit card and what cash I had in the other pocket, and I set out. I got to the end of Main Street. I looked down the length of Main Street, and I plotted my strategy. Good shoppers always have a strategy. After all, I only had 4 hours, and I had to do all of this in 4 hours. So I began. I would go down the left-hand side, and when I got to the end, I would cross over and do all of the shops back up to the hotel. That's exactly what I did. Oh, there were all kinds of shops. Candy shops, coffee shops, book shops, jewelry shops, umbrella shops, shoe shops, clothing shops, cigar shops, all kinds of shops. And I made my way through every single one of them. When I got to the end, crossed over, and made my way back. Now, it was getting to be about some hours into my project when I found myself in an antique shop. I love antique shops. Antique shops are like museums of memories for me. I love them. I love looking at everything. And I guess I was in a fog, a trance. But all of a sudden, I noticed that it was very quiet around me. I looked at my watch. Oh dear, it was 5 minutes of 5. I'd better get out of here. I bet this shop is going to close. I have to get back to the hotel and get changed and meet the other wives for dinner. So I made my way to the front of the store. No one was around. All of the lights were on. And I went to open the door to go out, and I couldn't open it. So I pulled it open. I pulled it again. I couldn't open it. I tried both hands. I could not open that door. I looked around. There must be somebody here. All of the lights are on. I noticed a set of antique cowbells. So I gave that a vigorous shake. Nothing. No one. So I said, "Hello? Hello?" I noticed some stairs that went up to another room. So I went to the stairs and I said, "Hello? Hello?" Nothing. I went back to the door. I tried again. I was locked in this antique shop. I did not know what to do. I looked around. What should I do? Then I noticed an antique telephone on the counter. I carefully picked up the receiver and discovered a dull tone. Do you all know what a dull tone is? We used to have those on phones. Well, I knew that I could get a call out, and right beside that phone, I saw a list of emergency numbers. And right there was the number for the Lake Placid Police Department. That's what I would do. I would call them. So I did. "Hello," I said. "I am a visitor in your town, and I seem to be locked in an antique shop, and I can't get out. Could you please come to help me?" There was a long pause. "What? You what?" said the voice. I tried again. "I'm a visitor in your town, and I seem to be locked in an antique shop on Main Street, and no one is here, and I'm locked in. Could you come to help?" "Oh," he said. "Well, where is it?" "Well, it's a shop, an antique shop someplace on Main Street. I'm looking out the window and I can see a church and a parking lot." "Oh," he said, "I know exactly where you are. Okay, don't leave. I'm coming." I thought to myself, oh, they save the brightest and the best for the afternoon and the weekend appointments here. So I stood and waited. Then the telephone rang. And I thought, oh dear, what should I do? What should I do? Oh, I should answer it, because it's probably the police calling back. They do this. I learned this from Law and Order. They would call back and see if this is a true call. So I picked up the phone and I said, "Hello?" And a woman's voice blustered out, who are you, and what are you doing there?" And I said, "I am a visitor in Lake Placid, and I seem to be locked in an antique shop, and I can't get out, and I've just called the Lake Placid police, but they're coming to get me." And she just kind of sputtered and said, oh, no, and then she hung up the phone. Just a few seconds later, there was at the door a man with a key trying to get in. He stepped in and he said, "Were you afraid?" And I said, "Oh, no, I wasn't afraid, but I called the Lake Placid police." You see, he was the owner of the antique shop, and he thought everyone was gone. So he left his shop to go to his other shop across the street, and of course he locked it behind him. He said, "You were very quiet. I didn't think there was anyone in here." So he and I stood looking at each other, and I'm wondering what to do now. I mean, I've called the police, and should I just leave or... Well, I didn't have to wait long, because way at the other end of Main Street, I heard police sirens coming to Main Street. I looked out the window and people were starting to stop and stare. And that siren got louder and louder, and that police car stopped right at the antique shop. The policeman came in and said, "So what's going on here?" And I said, "I got locked in this antique shop." And the owner said, what he thought happened. And the policeman asked for our identification, and I took out my room key and my credit card and what cash I had left. And, well, he went to his little computer and he checked it all out, and he came back and said, it seems like she just got locked in, and that's it. And the owner said, come back tomorrow. I'll give you 20% off on anything you buy tomorrow. And I said, I think I'm going back to New Hampshire tomorrow. And so I left to go back to the hotel. And the first person I met was Jean. Now, Jean was the director's wife. And do you know, sometimes you have an experience like this and then you say, what happened anyway? Did that really happen? So I just told Jean all about it. What I didn't know is that Jean was a blabbermouth. And by the time I changed my clothes and I met the other wives and we went for dinner, everybody knew that I had been locked in an antique shop. We went to the competition that night, and everybody there, all over New England, knew that I had locked myself, or I had been locked up in an antique shop. Later in the evening, when it was very, very dark, like this room is, my husband found me in the audience. And to the background of barbershop music, he leaned over and said, "What's this about you and the Lake Placid police?" I said, nothing. I'll tell you later. He leaned over a second later and said, "Is the car okay?" "Yeah, I'll tell you later." And to this day, I have never lived it down. The trip to Lake Placid, New York. And if you so desire, I can tell you exactly where to find that antique shop. Thank you very much.